welcome to week 2 of the Elestriad, where Distincoder, representing Aeolus and the Wind Pantheon, is throwing down against MBT, also representing Aeolus and the Wind Pantheon. Both these casters are coming off a week 1 win, and these two Yu-Gi-Oh! Titans are ready to throw down and clash here in week 2 of the Elestriad. This is one you do not want to miss. In this video, these two casters are going to be adding new cards to their card pools and ultimately building their decks to throw down for the week 2 clash, which you guys will see tomorrow. As always, be sure to hit that like button down below, subscribe to the channel, and let me know who you got in this one, MBT or DistantCoder. And don't forget to check out shop@Elestrals.com to pick up some sweet starter decks. We still got plenty of stellars to find out there. Without further ado, let's see what DistantCoder is cooking for week 2.
All right, let's do an opening. Let me get my thing. What's going on, guys? It's your boy DistantCoder once again, fresh off my win against the one and only J Johnny. We gave him the nice old clapperino, and now it is time to get into round 2. I'm excited. I'm playing against MBT, a good friend of mine, fellow Yu-Gi-Oh! Content creator. Feels good to play against someone that I know well. The only thing that scares me is the fact that I do know him well, and I know that Joseph knows what he's doing, and he's going to be bringing his A game, so I also need to do the same.
What's up? It's your boy. So you might notice that my camera is lower quality than it was last episode. Moving on. I know you're all thinking, Joseph, after that absolute schlogging week 1, what on earth are you going to open in order to continue your dastardly domination of DistantCoder?
Thinking about what I was going to open for this week, I think the choice is kind of a no-brainer. I'm going to be opening up the Imperial starter deck. Now, the reason why I'm opening the Imperial starter deck is specifically because the Thunder cards actually have a lot of things that mesh well with the Wind cards, and I feel as though when you're in a non-constructed environment, a sealed environment, you're always better off going for guaranteed cards rather than gambling on the chance of having good pulls from the booster packs. So I feel like the booster packs are something I'm not going to be touching for a while. I'm probably going to be going into mostly starter decks or guaranteed cards rather than gambling on booster packs. So the reason why I'm opening this specifically is because I pulled a Voltempest last week, and Voltempest happens to be a Thunder and Wind card, and with both of those together, Wind and Thunder actually has a lot of good toolbox options that I could use in order to build a really powerful deck really early on in this tournament. So this is what I'm going to be going for. I know that Joseph also started off with the Wind Pantheon, and I get a solid feeling he's going to be doing pretty much the exact same thing I'm doing.
Well, here it is. Boom. What about? Oh my god. Oh, I missed. The Thunder starter. I'm really excited to open the Thunder starter. We got Imperial on the cover. And you might be wondering why I'm opening the Thunder starter. That's because the Thunder monsters included herein are some of the most powerful in the game, were instrumental in last week's victory, and will set me up very nicely for my week 3 pivot to Voltempest. But for the time being, let's just open this bad boy and see what we get. Now,
seems like DistantCoder hit it spot on, as both these casters are indeed going with the Thunder starter deck for week 2. Let's tune back in and see if we got a stellar quackle for either of these two.
If our decks aren't exactly the same week 2, I feel like they're going to be very, very similar. So let's get into the opening. I can do this. I am able to open booster boxes. Hey, that opened up a lot easier than the one I opened last week. So in terms of cards I'm looking for in this, luckily, I know everything that's in here. Maybe we can get the Stellar Quackle. That would be pretty cool. Not that I'm going to be playing it, but I think Stellar Quackle's a cutie. That cute little pink dude. He's freaking adorable. I love him. Bro, A-Drive, why you got to package these things so darn well, man? Stop packaging these things. Package them worse. Thank you. Thank you. So, let's go through it, and I'll tell you guys the cards that I intend to be playing. So, Imperial, not going to be playing that. Come on, give me the Quackle. Unlucky. Feels bad, my guy. So, no, I'm not going to be playing Quackle or Signatric. These aren't cards that I'm expecting to be playing. Again, I'm going to be going more into like a Thunder toolbox rather than focusing on the Thunder cards. So, no Toxeon, no Galvenom, but I am going to be playing some of the cards you're going to be seeing coming up here. Probably not going to be on the Spark Hit. Asher Rabbit, luckily for me, I already have a playset of. Jolton, also not something I need. Boombat, also not something I need. Now we're going to be getting into the thick of things. Nectar of the Gods. This one has 2 Nectar and 1 Ambrosia. Now remember, the Wind starter that I opened had 1 Nectar, 2 Ambrosia, so now I have a playset of each. Feels good.
Now last time, I got a little bit of flack because I opened a Stellar and I made no noise about it. 0 pogging. You got me. All right. We now have a superior D20, and let's make it happen. So, first and foremost, we once again got a how to play guide. This is going to be important. We now know how to play twice as well. And let's open the freaking cards. Lois, like this. We'll do it like this. Maybe even a little closer to the camera. Imperial, Quackle, Quackle, Quack. You know we got 3 Quackle. You know we got Signetric. You know we got Toxion. You know we got Galvenom. You know we got Raceros. You know we got Sparkit. You know we got Astrabbit. You know we got Jolton. We actually already have a playset of Jolton. Boombat, Spy Nymph, Warmite. Okay, that was pretty devastating, to be honest.
Most likely going to be playing these cards. No Circle the Sky. Zeus, however, is a crazy divine rune. I'm probably going to be playing 2, especially because of how well this combos with the Voltempest that I pulled. Mount Olympus, not going to be playing that. I'm probably going to be cutting the divine runes, not divine runes, the stadium runes as a whole. Not going to be playing the Thunderbolts, not going to be playing the Thunderstorms. Earthquake. Now this is a powerful removal. I'm freaking throwing these cards all over the place. This is a powerful removal that I desperately needed last time, and I feel like having this in my deck is going to bolster my strategy quite a bit. So this is definitely going in, as well as the Shields of Achilles and the Pandora's Box. Knowing that Joseph is also going to be on the Pantera strategy, these 3 cards check that strategy really well. So whichever one of us sees these cards first is most likely to be winning our game. And then the rest is all going to be Spirits, which is, good. More Thunder Spirits is always good. A couple of Earth Spirits is also really good. And I'll be using these in order to build something pretty powerful. So I'm going to go ahead and get into deck building. And I'll see you guys in a minute. Peace.
Okay, no Stellar this time, but that's fine. We got Nectar of the Gods, X2. Got an Ambrosia, another Circle the Sky, and time for the actually good card, Zeus. We all like Zeus. We all like Thunderstorm. Thunderstorm, very powerful card. We love Earthquake. Oh, don't we love Earthquake, folks? And we've got some Shield of Achilles, too. We've got Pandora's Box. Those might find a way into our list. A bunch of Zaptors. We have a couple of Teratluses and some Vipyros as well. Feeling good. Feeling lit. You'll see what I build with this in a second.
With both Wind and Thunder combined, we've got some interesting decks we're about to see broken down. Distincoder has a tall task ahead of him, preparing for essentially a mirror match. One of the biggest differences is Distincoder's Voltempest. Let's see if he's gonna bring it this week.
What's up, my Nimbugs? It is time for me to show you my deck profile. I went into the kitchen, cooked up a little bit, and I made a couple of significant changes to the deck. I think that the deck is going to be pretty different than last week. Made a couple of changes to ratios of certain things that I didn't like in week 1 and added some more powerful cards that are going to help me win in week 2. So this is going to be pretty cool. So let's get into it. New addition this week, I am playing the Exalters. Didn't play them last week. The reason why I'm choosing to play the Exalters this week is specifically because I can hold this until very late in the game when my opponent is running low on spirits, and I can just throw this guy out, Nexus something, burn for 2, and luckily, if I'm, in a good position and my opponent's low on spirits, this will just knock him out of the game. Then I'm playing 2 P-Gust. Early on, I don't think I need to worry too much about runes and stuff like that, just because, because it's not constructed, we don't have access to a deck full of runes like most competitive decks nowadays look like. So I don't have to worry about runes so much. I can play 2 without needing to worry too much, and being able to Nexus from the Exalter to the P-Gust feels really good. 3 Sorlet standard, like I played last week. 3 Hydrake. This week I'm playing 1 Twindra and 1 Pantera. The reason why I'm on 1 Twindra instead of 2 is because I am not worried that one copy of Twindra, if I draw it, gets looped out of my hand. I was worried about it last week because I know Johnny was playing the Sparkit with the Zeus, but the really cool thing is that most people play 2, so if I'm playing 1, I doubt my opponent is going to hit it if ever they do open a Sparkit and a Zeus. If they look at my hand, they see this and maybe another good card like last week happened. I had a Twindra and a Sorlet in my hand. My opponent's most likely not anticipating me to only be playing 1, and they probably won't rip it. So I don't need to play the second. Ends up being a brick. Don't need that. I'm also playing a Chrysor to round out my Wind Spirits. My Wind Elestrals, I should say. Chrysor is good for closing out games. Same kind of logic as the Exalter, and even sometimes they can combo with Exalter. If I have Exalter and another Wind Elestral on the board, there is a realistic world where I ascend my Chrysor on top of the other Elestral, and then I go Exaltair, move some spirits either from under itself or from under, like an Aeolus or something like that, under the Chrysor, and then my Chrysor can swing direct for like 4, maybe even 5 after burning 2 with the Exaltair. It's a pretty good combo. I think it'll be pretty decent. Then for the Thunder Elestrals that I'm playing triple Asher Rabbit, best card in the game, 3 Elechick in order to search my Divine Runes, specifically because this week I am playing 1 copy of the Voltempest. I'm teching in the Voltempest. I don't have a Griff use to combo with a Zeus in order to get into the Voltempest easily. However, that's not really going to matter, and the reason why is because if I hard make a Voltempest while I have Zeus on the field, or even in my hand, access to it, the Voltempest by itself kind of wins the game. Slap this guy in defense. My opponent can't, crash his Hydrakes into it in order to ascend into a Pantera to beat over it. And every turn it just does 3 damage. So if I do happen to draw it, it's a really powerful card in order to, put out onto the board. Then I'm playing 2 copies of Aeolus, 2 copies of Zeus. These are the Divine Runes that I'm going to be searching out with the Elechick, which is why I bumped up the Elechick from 2 copies to 3. And then for the generic stuff, I'm playing 2 Nectar of the Gods. I'm playing triple copies of the Ambrosia. I'm still playing 2 Resting on Your Laurels. I still don't think this card is very good. But if my opponent, runs out a Zeus with a bunch of spirits underneath it, or an Aeolus with a bunch of spirits underneath it, I think the Resting on Your Laurels is just gonna be good to wipe a guy off the board. And because I know I'm playing against Hydrake next week against MBT, I do need cards that are able to check Hydrake and Twindra without letting my opponent climb up into a Pantera. I'm also playing 2 copies of the Earthquake. Earthquake, really crazy card. Unfortunately, I'm not really running that many Earth Spirits. I'm only playing 2, so I'll only be able to, cast 1 of these. But I still think it's going to be worth playing 2. And if ever I end up seeing Ambrosia and I have the other Earthquake, I just put back 2 Earth Spirits and then run it out with the second Earthquake. I'm playing 2 copies of Shield of Achilles and a Pandora's Box. These check specifically the Pantera line. You can shield for the Hydrake, you can shield for the Twindra, you can even shield the Pantera if you want. It's going to be costly, but you can do it. And Pandora's Box ends up negating the Hydrake or the Twindra in order to get to a Pantera. So this is pretty strong. Being able to negate that is really, really powerful. 3 copies of Tsunami in order to stop a potential onslaught, and 1 copy of the Helios' Chariot Ride in order to round out my counter runes. These are really the cards that are going to allow me to close out the game, especially if I do have a Chrysor play with the Helios' Chariot Ride to protect. It's going to be really, really strong, and it's not going to let my opponent interrupt me too much, which I think is going to be very, very powerful. Now off to the Spirit deck. The Spirit count is going to look a little weird. I'm going to let you know that right now. It's going to look a little weird. In terms of wins, I'm playing 10 Wind Spirits, 10 Wind Spirits, 6 Thunder Spirits, and I'm playing 2 Earth, 2 Water. The logic behind this is specifically that usually you would want more Wind Spirits in this deck, but because the Pantera can be misenchanted and you don't need to enchant it with the winds, because realistically if they out the Pantera, you're already so low on winds that it doesn't really matter. You're going to be so low on winds that if they out your Pantera, summoning back a Hydrake and a Twindra really isn't going to be what's going to win you that game. You're going to be so low on gas anyway that at that point it really doesn't matter. So once Pantera hits the board, you have to kind of play Protect the Castle. You have to keep it alive rather than try to, have a backup play if they out it. At that point, if they out it, they out it. They're insane. 6 Zaptor is specifically so that my Voltempest is live, the Zeus is live, Asher Rabbit, best card in the game, like I've said, is live. Same for the Elechick. The majority of my toolbox cards are going to be Thunder, and they're going to matter a lot. And the 2 Earth are to cast 1 Earthquake or a second if I draw an Ambrosia, and the 2 Leviathan are specifically in order to cast the 2 Tsunamis. That's going to be the idea behind this. So that's the deck profile. Let's see how we do.
It looks like DistantCoder has quite the Thunder package, and I love the addition of Pandora's Box, a card we don't see too often, but when poised up against Wind, could be the perfect scenario for it to function effectively. Now let's take a look at what MBT is cooking up for week 2 against DistantCoder.
Hey, what's up? It's your boy MBT off of a clean 1-0 victory, but unfortunately this next match is up against the individual I want to play least. That's for a number of reasons. Firstly, I know DistantCoder is tryharding, and he actually knows how to build for sealed. Secondly, DistantCoder is a close friend, a colleague, and most importantly, a lover, and it would do me no good to see him upset after walloping him. So we're going to try our best to do it anyway. Let's walk through what we're playing. Unsurprisingly, we are still on a base wind strategy, though we are playing a lot more thunder this time around, and also, of course, we have 3 earthquakes now, so we're playing that. Just like last time, we got Penterror, Twindra, and 3 Hydrake, one of which is a Stellar. Thank you in the comments for pointing that out. We've got 3 Sorlet, 3 P-Gust, and we've moved the monster or lineup around a little bit. I'm now playing Exaltair as well. We've got the 2 Aeolus and the 1 Tornado, and that's about all of the wind that I feel comfortable playing. I'd be happy to find any of those cards. The P-Gusts, of course, get a lot better now that there's runes worth playing. For Thunder, we're on 3 Astrabbit, unsurprisingly, probably the best card in the format, 3 Elichick, and 1 copy of Zeus, just a very available card, so no reason to play more than 1, I don't think. Next up, we have got 3 Tsunami. I'm not going to lie, the math is not mathing on this. Certainly not super available in terms of our Spirit deck, and 3 Earthquake, similar, but we really, really want to see it, and we really want to resolve it, and if we have to misenchant some Sorlets to get there, it's not too big of a deal. We finally have some runes worth playing. We've got Ambrosia, we've got Nectar, that's not a surprise. We've got Shield of Achilles now. We've, of course, got Laurels, and we've got 1 Pandora's Box as well. Feeling a lot better about our defensive options from this point forward. And then, of course, the Spirit deck, I'll just be completely honest with you, is a little messy. We've, of course, got a number of Lycoris. I believe we're on 10 now, which is not sufficient to facilitate the amount of wind Elestrals that we are playing, but we're just going to move past it. We have got 4 Terratluses. This is definitely greedy. I want to resolve Earthquake twice, and it's I think, nice to have a type of a spirit that you feel comfortable misenchanting. We've got 4 Zaptor and 2 Leviathan. That's 10, 4, 4, 2 for 20 total. So wish us luck versus Coder. Would not be surprised if he claps us, but I think either way it's going to be close. It's going to be an interesting game, and one of us is going to come out of this spurned, as a lover might be.
It seems like both these casters are bringing very similar decks, but there's some pretty interesting nuances between the two, including Crysaor on Distincoder's end, and a 3rd Earthquake for MBT, which may prove to be crucial as removal is so big against these Hydras. This is a cornerstone match in the Elestriad you don't want to miss, so make sure you guys stay glued to the channel and like and subscribe. The match will be up tomorrow. Let me know who you got in the comments section below, Distincoder or MBT. The 2 Aeolus representatives throwing down in week 2. It doesn't get better than this. I'll see you guys for the clash.